All right, folks, I think we're going to get started. Okay, so I believe we are now live streaming. Thank you all for your patience. I know technology can get in the way of the work we do, but here we are. So today it's Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. This is the House Democratic Caucus. I have just a few announcements, folks, for today, and then a couple of bill reports. Floor, it's going to be the same floor schedule this week. 1, 1, and 9:30 Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and 10 on Tuesdays, and that will remain the same for the rest of the session unless there's some special need to change it. Just so you all know, there will be this will be shorter floors this week. It'll start to ramp up again, but this week it'll be a little quieter than it has been. And thank you all for your patience with our long floor days in the last couple of weeks. I also wanted to make a quick mention that you will start to see, as we come to the end of this month, you'll start to see some token sessions on Mondays. For the folks who haven't been through token sessions before, no one needs to be here except the one person who's announcing it. And that will not be any of us. So you won't need to be here on Mondays for token sessions, but that is so that we can move bills more quickly. So look for that at the end of April and definitely into May. You'll start to see some token sessions on Monday. That means that the bills that are on notice on Friday will actually be, if there's a token session, if they're on notice Friday, they will come up on the floor on Tuesday when we are back in session. Just quickly, oh yeah, we were having a House all caucus leadership meeting this morning, and I just wanted to, we were asked to all bring this up, decorum on the floor. There've been a lot of issues around decorum. I know we've had some really long days and it's really hard to deal with being on the floor as many hours as we are, but some of the things that were mentioned was members crossing the line of sight between the speaker and the member who was recognized. Make sure that you know what that line of sight is before you walk. Do not cross it. A couple of other things, water bottles, do not leave them on top of your desk for any reason. Put them down underneath, drink them, but keep them stored underneath. And the clerks have a really hard time hearing, and so does the speaker, the presiding officer. It's really hard to hear when there's a lot of movement going on. So there's no way to stop your chairs from being creaky, and there's no way to stop you from moving around. But if you can just be mindful of trying to minimize the amount of noise when we're on the floor, that would be greatly appreciated. So just those quick reminders. Let's see. Oh, we have new pages, as you all noticed this morning. So please welcome our new pages and make them feel as part of the family, because very shortly they are going to be part of the family, but they do need to be welcomed. Okay, that was it on my announcements. I have two bills that are going to come up. I'll have you folks come first. Okay, Representative Durfee and Representative Templeman are going to be mentioning H81, which is a right to repair. So,
good morning. David Durfee of Shaftesbury. I'm just going to tee this up and turn it over to Representative Templeman, who will give a little more of an overview of what's in the bill. So this is H81. It's the right to fair repair for agriculture and forestry equipment. Not to be confused with, I think it's H79, which is also a right to repair bill covering more ground. In the Ag Committee, we're just looking at ag and forestry equipment. If anyone is not familiar with the concept, right to repair, I'm going to use a non-ag forestry example that might help people understand what we're talking about, and that's with phones. So over the holidays, my son was home from college and he asked to borrow the car from our home on Shaftesbury so that he could drive to Brattleboro, about an hour, so they could get his phone fixed. And I thought that was a little bit odd, not having the brand of phone that he had and not having had a phone long enough for it ever needed to be fixed, I guess. But in any case, I said, sure. And then he explained to me, oh, that's, he had to take it there to be fixed. So we'll leave phones now and move again back to the jurisdiction. We cover large farm equipment. And if it breaks down, right now, you often have no recourse but to take it to an authorized dealer, which probably isn't right next door and might end up costing you quite a bit more than it would be if there were more competition in the marketplace. So that's essentially the problem this bill is working to address. Representative Templeman will go into some of the details.
Thank you. Good morning. H81, what is being called the right to repair bill, would allow owners of farm and forestry equipment to repair their equipment to the same extent offered by manufacturer authorized repair services. By allowing equipment owners the right to access tools and parts, specifically diagnostic tools, from the original equipment manufacturer at the same price which authorized repair services pay to the OEMs. Unfair repair practices are a particular problem for farmers and loggers. The wait for an authorized tech can be days to sometimes weeks, delays that can be incredibly costly to farmers with finite windows of time for planting and harvesting. As the saying goes, you got to make hay while the sun shines. Such delays can put a farmer's crops and livelihood at risk. For the last 3 to 4 decades, OEMs have been keeping their diagnostic software and interface equipment proprietary. Limited versions have been made available by the OEMs to equipment owners, albeit at very high prices. These limited versions of diagnostic software and tools are just that, limited, as they do not address all the repair needs of the equipment operator. Allegedly, the OEMs have created a derivative product by separating repair access from the product purchased and limiting the equipment owner to be serviced by authorized repair services only. The claim, as I believe it, is that this derivative market is a monopoly, as only OEM authorized repair services have authority to complete all potential service needs, while equipment owners exist at the mercy of the OEMs. This bill does not force manufacturers to give diagnostic software, hardware, or parts free of charge. Rather, it mandates the OEMs to provide the aforementioned equipment at substantially the same terms and cost available to authorized service providers. No longer will our farmers and agroforestry professionals be at the mercy of authorized repair technicians. Equipment owners suffer from equipment repair needs won't be held to someone else's schedule at someone else's price. Should the bill pass, the equipment owners and their staff will have full access to repair their property, as should have always been the case. Bottom line, this bill is about preserving your right to fix something you own or bring to a local repair shop and know that they can get the parts and information they need to repair. I will take questions if there are any.
Introduce yourselves when you speak. Thanks.
Representative Robin Chestnut Tangerman. A lot of heavy equipment repair shops are multi-state enterprises. Is this a kind of a bill that would benefit from being a multi-state or regional effort, or is it a regional effort?
There are a few other right to repair laws being put through state legislators right now. I don't think there are any that would affect agriculture or logging equipment adjacent to Vermont. So this does have limited teeth.
Thank you.
add that we received some written testimony from the attorneys general of 25 or 26 states. It was actually a letter, a copy of a letter they had written to the FTC and to the president, urging right to repair legislation at the federal level for much, I think, the reason that you're getting at there.
Hi, Mark Mahaly. Does this just apply? Does this give the right to repair to individual farmers, or can somebody else set up shop and set up an unauthorized repair, just like taking your car to somebody that isn't the dealer?
I believe it applies to both.
Yes, Representative Austin from Colchester. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but I'm wondering about copyright laws that would protect the businesses. Does that enter into this at all?
It does. There's clearly a clause for protecting trade secrets, so that this will not infringe on that. Guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Representative Durfee and Templeman. If you have any questions for them or anyone on the Ag Committee, please reach out to them. We have one more topic today. I'm going to have Representative McCarthy come up and speak. He's going to give a general announcement about charters. As you've noticed, there's a lot more charters coming. And then he's going to speak specifically to one, which is 386, H 386.
Thank you, Representative Long. So I'm Mike McCarthy, representative from St. Albans, and I chair the House Government Operations and Military Affairs Committee. You may have noticed if you were paying attention on the floor today, we passed several town charters. Just want to make sure we're doing okay on the live stream. We passed several town charters that the committee worked on last week that were mostly, small adjustments, technical corrections, pretty not controversial things. There were a number of additional charter bills referred to our committee. I wanted to let everybody know that charter changes are not subject to the crossover deadlines. So that was my big public service announcement, was a reminder that you'll see these bills moving through on a very different schedule from many of the other policy bills that we all work on, because they're not subject to the crossover deadline. So we'll be continuing to work on the charters. We're now getting some of the Senate policy bills over in our committee. So we'll weave in different municipal charters as they go. If your community voted on a charter change and the bill hasn't been introduced yet, I know a couple people in the room have approached me about their municipal charter changes that are in progress. I want to be aware of them. If there's anything that is particularly unusual about the charter change, I especially want to be aware of it early. So please come and speak to me and other members of House Gov Ops about that. So it's the general public service announcement about charter changes. Expect to see a lot more of those coming through as we're hearing a number of them introduced this afternoon, some of which I think we can move pretty quickly. There's one that will be familiar to folks who served in the body previously that I'll transition to now, which is H 386. This is the town of Brattleboro's charter change that would allow for a new type of voter to vote in their local elections and their representative town meeting and be able to serve in local office and as representatives in their local town meeting. So wow, there's quite a lot of voices outside of our caucus. So, yeah, we're just going to close the doors here. Seemed like there might have been a class of young Vermonters outside of our caucus. We always love that. So apropos, so this bill, what it does is that it would allow a new type of voter, a youth voter, to be, and that would be defined as a 16 or 17-year-old. So those who have reached the age of 16 but aren't quite yet 18 to vote in the local elections in the town of Brattleboro. That charter passed, we heard from the three Brattleboro reps in our committee, got over 900 votes in favor, and there was a little over 400 votes opposed. So it passed overwhelmingly in 2019 when it was on the ballot. You may recall, if you served last biennium, that we saw this before, and that it overwhelmingly passed in the House, and the governor vetoed the bill. We overrode the veto, but it was sustained in the Senate. I think that the main issue that came up in the Senate was around the ability for a youth voter who was serving in a municipal office, aka the town select board, their ability to vote and sign to enter into contracts. We've made that very clear that as an elected member of such a body, they would be able to sign, because the fact that they were elected endows them with that ability, even if they are a youth voter. So I think we've addressed that main concern in this version of the bill, and are likely to pass it out of our committee in the next couple of days and have it on the floor next week. So I just wanted folks to be aware that that only applies in Brattleboro local offices, local elections, and it's not school. It's just the town elections and the town meeting day representative. So it doesn't affect school. It's just the town. It's a great reminder. So yeah, happy to take any questions about charters or H386 specifically.
Any questions at all? Comments? That's it for the, if anybody does come up with questions, and you may, please reach out to Representative McCarthy or anyone else on the Government Operations Committee to be able to get your questions answered. Okay, that's it for today, unless anyone has anything else. If not, have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much.